So first, we're going to start with catcher. I'm going to say Dan the Man Wilson because of his defense. He actually at least had pretty good hitting from, I think it was from like 95 all the way to at least 1999. He was at least a pretty consistent hitter. He actually had some clutch hits once in a while. I only know that because of the video. You got to love these guys in case anyone has seen it by now.
You got to love these guys.
So and he also was really good at working with the pitchers.
Wilson going to the mound. We asked him, how do you deal with this bullpen this year?
The tougher part for me is to know when to be positive and know when to go out there and maybe rile them up a little bit and get them going.
So that's my catcher, Dan Wilson.
I mean, I'll say Big Dumper. Why not? You know, he's a great defender. He frames pitches really well. He's got a great arm. If he can get his batting average up at all, that'd be amazing. But, you know, if he keeps hitting the Hit It Here Cafe, I think fans will be happy for years to come. So let's go with Cal.
I'll go Dumper. I think at the end, Dan Wilson's probably the answer right now. But like when it's all said and done, I think Cal's going to be the best catcher in team history. So put me down for the Dumper.
First base, I will say the former Mariner and former Yankee, Tino Martinez, because he was a huge part of that 95 run. He was a very clutch player. I remember he hit up, I don't remember. I just happened to see highlights where he did hit a home run off of Dennis Eckersley in the 95 run in that middle of it.
Here comes the pitch to Tino. Swung on and belted deep to right field. And that will be flying away. And the Mariners win it 9-8 in perhaps the most incredible game in their history.
And also defensively, he was also a fantastic player. And when I looked at his numbers, his strikeout to walk ratio is something that you don't even see in today's baseball anymore. Very consistent. And he was also really good relationship with Lou Piniella. So Tino is my guy for first base.
I would say John Olerud. I went to Washington State University. So did he. And also, it looks like he's the most tenured first baseman in Mariners history, but batting average of 285, OPS of 827. I mean, he was a stud back then, so I would have to say Olerud.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Mr. Consistency, great glove, great leader. I actually met him in person. Really cool guy. So he's not a bad choice either.
Ditto with Couch. I'm going to take John Olerud. Like, it's Olerud or Tino. I mean, Sexton wasn't here long enough, so Johnny Olerud.
Second baseman, I will say Brett Boone because of his amazing glove. And many people don't notice he had two different times in Seattle from the early 90s and then also 2001 to 2005. I love that Booney bat flip. And also when I was a kid growing up, Alex Rodriguez was actually my favorite player. I actually preferred him over Griffey. I'm a minority. And as soon as he left, that was crushing. But Brett Boone quickly filled that void for just a little bit. And I remember I was only two people away to get his autograph and he just had to leave and I cried the entire night. but Brett Boone, funny commercials.
Yeah, talk to you later.
The bat flip just never gets old.
I'm going to second that, actually. I was going to say the same thing. And yeah, that bat flip is legendary. I remember getting his autograph at a game when I was really young. I have yet to find the ball anywhere in storage, but yeah, I'd say Brett Boone, that bat flip.
I have nothing new to add. Did Harold Reynolds play second or shortstop? Maybe that's
second base.
Second. Yeah.
Stolen base king, but he got thrown out a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
Should I make it's Boone? Give me Boone, but for it Boone. I mean, the numbers those guys were all putting up those years. I mean, back in the early 2000s, 9-hole hitters were OPSing 815 with 15 home runs. So give me
that Boone. Was Dan Wilson. He was your number 9 hitter hitting close to 20 home runs. That's how juggernaut that offense was. So we all agreed on Brett Boone because bat flips, sweet glove, and great teammate. And he has a cool podcast too. Shortstop, I think we're all going to agree. Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod in 2000 was what made it unforgettable with his above 10 wins above replacement. And that is actually the only time he actually was achieved above 10, especially when he was leading the offense other than Edgar after losing Ken Griffey Jr., and any other shortstop you can name, J.P. Crawford, Carlos Guillen, Yuniesky Betancourt, April 2019, Tim Beckham. That's all I can name.
Yeah, I would, of course, have to say A-Rod also. The name Yuniesky Betancourt is just nostalgic because that was, my middle school days, basically watching the Mariners.
And now I'm sure you're going to say A-Rod unless you have something to say else.
Brendan Ryan, baby. Brendan Ryan.
He had a great glove.
Best defensive shortstop this team has had, but A-Rod's the answer.
And now third base. I think we're all going to have different ones. We just might, but I'm going to say Kyle Seager. Great glove. Yes, his OBP was kind of disturbing. Did strike out a lot, but very passionate guy. He hit the home runs when he needed to. I still feel bad for the guy that Kevin Mather says, yeah, you're overpaid. We're not going to extend your contract. Kyle Seager, great bat, great glove. And he really did go through the very difficult years with the Mariners. He was one of the few that actually got me to still watch the Mariners along with Felix and Cano and Cruz.
Yeah, Corey's brother was awesome. He's super consistent, great glove. I'll have to go with Adrian Beltre, though. I just loved his playing style and, his passion in the game. I got to go Beltre.
Beltre, yeah. He was actually, I would say, still a great free agent signing. Some still say it was not a great one, but if we do it again, I'm still signing those two, Adrian Beltre and Richie Sexson. It's just too bad that he was just on the Mariners just at the worst possible time.
Beltre's probably the better player, but just because of his tenure with the Mariners, I'll go Seager, just because he feels more like a Mariner over the course of it. But I think Beltre's probably the better player, but I'll take Seager just because longevity.
And now right field. We might have different ones, but I'm going to say Jay Buhner because he was a great leader, great arm, great power to his bat. Yes, he struck out too much, but in the playoffs, he did make the big hits when he needed to, especially in 95 when he hit the 2 home runs against the Cleveland Indians, now the Cleveland Guardians. Great leader. The Buhner Buzz cut night, that never gets old. That's as nostalgic as it gets. Also was a great leader to everyone. And a fun fact, A-Rod in 96 was late for practice, showed up with 3 bags of Taco Bell, and Jay Buhner's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just eating. I'm just really hungry." And then Jay Buhner took those tacos from him, threw them up in the air, and smacked the living crap out of it, and told A-Rod to go pick it up.
Nice.
And now the couch, your right fielder.
I gotta go Ichiro. I mean, he's the face of the franchise for basically all of history. And I mean, he's still out there before every game, shagging balls. He's playing catch with Julio pregame. He just seems like an awesome, vibe. Plus, there's his on-field ability.
And don't forget his amazing work ethic. Like, it is just second to none. Man, if I had his work ethic, I don't even have to worry about my weight at all. That guy he's going to keep working on his body even in the afterlife. Yeah, so Trident, your right fielder.
Yeah, Ichiro. The guy is just amazing. And even still, you look at him today and he could still play. Ichiro and Pete Carroll. Those are the 2 guys that if I can have their energy at their age, life will be good. I'm half their age and I'm lethargic and tired 24/7. So yeah, Ichiro for me. But Buhner's a good one too.
All right, yeah. And now center field. Come on. Like, this is going to be the most boring one to do. I think, can we all agree that it's going to be Ken Griffey Jr.?
Give me Julio. Give me Julio.
Because if it is, I'm just going to change it up. You cannot name Ken Griffey Jr. for center field because everyone's going to name Griffey. And it's going to be like, well, no duh, because it's Griffey. But I'm going to say for center field, Mike Cameron, if you're not picking Griffey, because he came into a very difficult situation where Ken Griffey Jr. was traded away. Mariners did give him the extension offer that would have been the most paid in Major League Baseball. Said no. And then you have Mike Cameron where, who's Mike Cameron? He'll maybe hit 20 home runs. Does he have a glove? And next thing you know, few games in, he robs a home run from Derek Jeter immediately. So much that Dave Niehaus is like, that was Griffey-esque.
I hate to say it, but it was a Griffey-esque catch. Make it Cameron-esque now.
And a huge part of those 2 playoff runs in 2000 and 2001. It's just a shame that he did not stay beyond the 2003 season. And yes, he struck out, of course, just like no other. Great teammate. He was great to Ichiro. Great fan favorite. Like, honestly, this is a hot take, but I actually found him more likable than Griffey. He was much more personable guy. And plus, he's replied to my tweets before Griffey did.
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, of course, Griffey, Julio, of course. We'll have to see how he performs long term, but he's an awesome name. One guy that hasn't been mentioned yet. I don't know if he's on the all time, but I just remember him hitting clutch home runs, playing great defense. Was Franklin Gutierrez. And he was just another one of those guys, the middle school days watching baseball, the Mariners, and he was just one of those guys that stood out.
Yeah, and great glove, and that 2009 season where he just came out of nowhere, and it's just too bad his body just did not hold up ever. Like, there were times where he really did dedicate his life and worked on his body and still gets hurt. So that's a good pick.
Love the Gutierrez call out too, because what was so great about Goody, he never had a lot of diving catches. He was just so smooth in center field. Some of the balls he would get to was just insane that he could track those down. I'll go with Julio. I think at the end of the day, Julio is going to be better than Ken Griffey Jr. I think he will be a Hall of Famer. So give me Julio. And you said center field was going to be the easiest one. I think DH is the most obvious.
Oh, yeah. We're all just going to say Edgar Martinez.
Yeah,
and
that
last one is left field. So the reason I did not put Ichiro in right field, only because Ichiro can easily play left field. Now, he didn't play left field that much, but if you have Buhner, which I also need on my all-time team, of course I'll put Ichiro in left field. And there was a time back in 98 to 99, there were talks of getting Ichiro into the Kingdom, and I do believe that Buhner would have played right field and Ichiro would have played left field. It almost kind of happened, but of course he had his contract with Japan, so that made it impossible. But little do people know, he actually played 2 games with the Mariners in the 99 spring training, but it was short-lived because he had a stomach bug. So that's my left field. I'm putting in Ichiro, hence why now it makes sense why I didn't even put Ichiro at right field.
I don't remember watching him play, but I got to say Ricky Henderson.
Yes,
yeah, that's right.
2000 Ricky Henderson with 30-something stolen bases.
Yeah, I mean, just that name alone. I mean, he's a star. I'll say him.
Yeah, greatest base stealer of all time. No one's ever going to top that guy. And the only reason why he lost to Harold Reynolds in the stolen base championship was because he only played half the season. But Jay Trident, who is your left fielder?
God, I don't remember a lot of Mariners left fielders, to be honest. I feel like I'm blanking on some really good ones, but
is it too early to say Kelnick?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, it might be. I don't know.
April 2023, Jared Kelnick.
Yeah. God, I'm honestly blanking because it's outside of center. So, and then you had Ichiro and right for so many years. They just move guys around. You had like Michael Saunders and
Colonel Saunders.
Who? Gosh, I don't know. Who did you say? Did you guys go Ricky Henderson? Did you both say Ricky?
That's what I said.
Or Roof? Who did you? Yeah, who did you say? Roof?
I said Ichiro just because I'm putting Buhner at right field.
I mean, if I can move guys around, I'll put Goody in center and Julio in left. So I don't know. Give me Ricky Henderson because he played out there. So I guess I am blanking on left fielders. This might be a terrible one because his defense was really bad. But Raul Ibanez, like
I was thinking of him.
Unless I'm missing someone that was just really, really good, and I could totally be someone that could chat can correct me. And Raul's defense was suspect, but the bat was good enough. We can put him at DH for a few games,
Yeah, well, I mean, Raul Ibanez also in the worst possible time with the Mariners, and that's the only left fielder I can really think of. There's 1996 Mark McLemore. There's Mark Whitten. Too bad we didn't have enough time to talk about the utilities, but I think for DH we can all agree that Edgar Martinez is obviously the DH choice. I'm like, who else are your name? 2007 Jose Vidro? Or Mike Ford of July 2023 or something. Who knows?
Tommy La Stella, baby. Tommy La Stella.
Tommy La Stella. Let's do that. And thanks for watching this video. And if you did enjoy Mariners nostalgic content, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification, and check out these following videos.